Welcome to Drum and Drummer, a podcast focused on drums, drumming and drummers. I'm George Pickering and that's Ben Winty, and we are both professional drummers in this business we call music. So stick around and join us as we pass the time whilst trying to stay in time.
Get there late, have a sleep, go to the drum show. Anxiety get the better of us. Not really talk to anyone. Come home.
Yeah.
Ready?
Welcome.
Yeah. Let's go. Yeah.
Have we started?
Yeah.
Straight in.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. It's Thursday. It's 6 a.m. It's not actually Thursday and it's not actually 6 a.m.
No.
But this is when it drops into your feed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well done if you are listening at 6 a.m.
Fair play.
Yeah.
Fair play.
Fair play. Big
'Cause I'm
fan. Too big of a fan, I'd say, if you're listening this early.
Keynote.
Yeah.
You know, one of them.
Well, let's start where we left off. Sprite challenge.
Sprite challenge, yes. Reference back to our chat with James Gillingham. Both of you can't burp. A Sprite challenge.
Nope.
A viral thing that's probably ended now.
Well ended.
Well ended. Famously, it makes the drinker burp straight away. Try not to burp. You two medically can't burp.
Yeah.
You did the challenge in person.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't invited. And you've made a new friend and you did the Sprite challenge. How did it go?
Well, basically, after he was on the podcast, I sent him all the audiograms. You know, this is what we do. You guys listening, you think we just rock up, do the episodes, and then disregard the guests. Go, you're dead to me, Jay Sakura. No, we send them all the stuff in case they want to
be
do
our
it.
mates.
Yeah,
please.
Please be our friends.
Help
That's
us.
Really the only reason we do it. To worm our way into the drumming community.
We couldn't do
because
it with
we
our
have no
drumming.
talent. Yeah.
We're leeching off the back of others.
This is it. So we send them the audiograms and go, if you want to do a post, here's all the stuff. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But I sent it to James and I said, by the way, I'm going to save this clip where we discuss the Sprite challenge and I'm going to do the Sprite challenge. And I didn't want to ask him because we'd only met him on the pod, you know. But he was like, do you know what we should do? We should do it together. And I went, right, he's initiated it. Let's do it. So I had to be like, right, when, you know? He said, what about Sunday? And I was
Can't
like...
do Sunday.
I was like,
Monday. Can't do Monday. I've got a full-time job.
Yeah, exactly.
The hours are mental.
The hours are mental. So I said, what about Sunday? He was like, oh, I've got a gig. And genuinely, I don't want to risk it because I'll have a gig that day. And I went, that's fair enough. I said, what about Saturday? I said, I've got a gig, but I'm happy to risk it. He went, yeah, we can do Saturday. And then he goes, actually, that's the day of my gig. So I went, well, we don't have to do this, James, because having a Sprite genuinely can ruin our day, you know? But he said, fuck it. What's the worst that can happen? So I went to the shop. I bought some Sprites. I went to his studio. Lovely studio. Oh, mama. He's got this place in Fishersgate. It's just a room he shares with another drummer, and it's lovely. And I turned up, and we chatted for a bit, and I was like, right, you ready? Let's do this. Set up a camera. You look like you got a question, or are you just breathing?
No.
All right.
Just existing.
And so we got the Sprites out, set the camera up, and I was genuinely nervous because I can't remember ever downing a fizzy drink because of my affliction. And so anyway, you know, you can see the video if you want to watch it. We tried and failed miserably. But the thing is...
Well, did you succeed? Because this is the challenge to not burp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we definitely didn't drink it all. But yeah, we definitely didn't burp. But that's what is funny because I said that, you know, people do it.
Watching two men drink half a Sprite and then look very uncomfortable.
Yeah. Really uncomfortable. But this was the problem. There's life goes on after the video, and we were sat there.
You turn the camera off. I'm still here.
Yeah.
Come back and see me in 10 years, yeah?
Yeah, I could have kids. And so we were just sat there just chatting, you know, about other stuff. You know, we weren't discussing the Sprite challenge. We'd done it. It's recorded. Just chatting about drums, but we were both like, Oh God, I'm just not in a good way, and but I think both being polite. But yeah, for about 2 hours after that, I was just bloated and I was just a mess. And as I said,
And so there was no burp. No burp.
no burp,
Ever
no
appeared.
burp.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? But
Yeah.
but I will say one more thing on the subject, because I feel I don't want James and I to become known only as the no burpers. But I think now that I've met someone else, I'm like, fucking hell, this is a problem. Like, he said that to me. He was like, oh, it looks like you've got it worse, and it doesn't look nice, because my stomach just inflated, and I was like, oh my God. And yeah, I'm like, should I get that operation? Because even on Sunday, I had a few Guinness eye. What's the plural?
Guinea. Yeah.
And
Guinea.
a few Guinea. I had 2. And I was like, oh, God. And that's Guinness, And I was thinking, maybe I should just find it. Because the more I researched, I didn't research it much because I got too sad. But it was people were being like, my life was shit and not worth living until I got this operation. I'm like, well, that's a bit dramatic. But at the same time, is it? Because if you can never
If you love Sprite,
yeah.
you're stuck between a rock and a burp. Yeah.
So that was the Sprite challenge. But yeah, even watching the video back, whereas I was posting it, I was like, oh, I can feel it again.
It looked uncomfortable.
Yeah,
It just looked like,
I got sweaty as well. I'm like wiping my face in the video because I was just, when you just like panicky or like.
Well, you had your coat on indoors.
I had my coat on indoors. Yeah,
Silly.
that is true. But that was the Sprite challenge. So yeah, I'll never do it again until I've had the operation, which it's new snare or burp operation at the moment, I reckon.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that.
Yeah. I might get a new snare, I think. Now that I've got a full-time job and given up on drums, I think let's get some new drum gear.
I'm going to get a full-time job so I can just earn some money and save up and be stable. Right. Let's get a new snare.
Yeah, exactly.
First
Even you
paycheck's
said
in.
that to me.
Where are we going?
You and I joke about a lot. That's how we form this podcast. But
Sure.
every now and then you'll be like, "Can I give you some advice?" And when I got the new job, and you were like, "Save the money you make," and I was like, "Okay, I will." And now I'm like, "New snare time, baby. Let's go to BDC." Just because I was playing my one the other night, and I was thinking, "Oh, I'm bored of it," That's just all it is. But it's fair enough. I've had it it's the only snare I've ever really had. And I've been drumming for at least 10 years. So,
right. Something's just popped into my mind.
Thank God for that, because I felt like I was just talking too much.
I think that's what we've been doing for 72 weeks. Just talking too much. Right. In the old days, you'd buy a car.
Right. How old? What do you mean the old days? Your old days?
All right. I'm not that much older.
No, but I mean, what do you mean the old, like, give me a decade, give me an era.
I don't know, even up to the noughties.
Okay, yeah.
80s, 90s, noughties.
Yeah.
You'd buy a car and you'd either buy it brand new and you'd pay the money, or you'd get a loan, or you'd buy a car second hand.
Yeah.
You'd pay the money and you'd get a loan. Now we have what's known as the PCP deal, like the lease, you lease, right? So you just basically put a deposit down, pay monthly, and you have a pretty brand new car. A couple of years down the line, you upgrade it.
Yep.
They did they took what they did with mobile phones, and did it to cars. Should we be doing that with drum kits?
That's a good question. That is a good question.
Because you make a big investment. If you want to get a decent kit, you're dropping at least a G.
Yeah, at least.
And that's just for the shells.
Yeah.
And then you got your snare, your cymbals, your hardware, your cases, your sticks, the wig, the glasses, the catchphrase. Yeah.
Brilliant.
So what if you PCP'd a drum kit? So you go down BDC or Pearl or Yami.
Or Graham Russell. Shout out Graham Russell.
Shout out Graham Russell. Come on the pod. And and you go, okay, I'm going to get a BDC kit.
Yeah.
Get the Legend series on a PCP deal. You pay X amount a month, and at the end of the year, you can either buy it out, or you give it back.
Yeah.
And then you go, I'm going to get a Yami. I'm going to get a Pearly. I'm going to get a Tammy.
Yeah. I'm going to get a Just trying to think of more.
Can of pussy.
Good. Yeah.
Or
a Ludwiggy.
Yeah. A Mapey.
Yeah.
Mapo. The big mape.
The big mapes.
Yeah.
You're going to get any of them. Yeah.
Or even with snares. Like, obviously, the thing with the PCP is you drive it off the lot, it's worth less than you've got to pay back, essentially. So you have that gap insurance thing. And but what if you did that like snares? You know, even snare drums. Like, I'll just pay 20 quid a month and I'll have a BDC Merlin.
Yeah.
And then you can make the decision, give it back, swap it in. I mean, I'm basically talking about hiring equipment, basically.
Yeah.
But with the right to sort of.
But it's hiring and then you own it at the end. Yeah.
Yeah, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because, as you're right, like, you know, I love my Mapex kit, but it is that thing. Yeah, you're right. It's boredom. I'm bored of hearing the same thing.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
You know.
Do you reckon people think that about this podcast?
Yep.
They're just talking about the fucking.
Because you wanted to buy a new snare 6 months ago.
Yeah. And even before we said this episode, we said, what should we talk about? I went, I might get a new snare. Yeah, we talk about that, even though we've done it at least twice. But this time I will, because I've got money. But it is boredom. It is boredom. Because it's, and I think maybe it's sort of, maybe part of it is going, well, this will be what makes me sound better, rather than, you know,
actual
proper technique.
Yeah. And musicianship. Yeah.
Oh, speaking of going to drum stuff.
Yes.
We are going to go to the UK drum show.
Yeah, we're definitely planning on it.
Yeah, we haven't booked tickets. We've just said it.
We've just said it. Like a lot of things, we've just said it.
Yeah.
With no follow through.
No.
But we are, eyeing up a couple of tickets to go to the show. And have a little road trip.
Couldn't even say tickets.
But it's classic, isn't it? Because in the back of my head, it's like, it's on a weekend in September.
Yeah.
What if a gig comes in?
Yeah. But as you said, I'd rather do pod stuff for a weekend, you know?
Yeah.
Like, even for a night. Like,
because you've got a maybe gig on the Friday. We've got a maybe gig on the Saturday. Neither are confirmed.
Yeah.
If both confirmed, it makes it very difficult.
Yeah.
But
well, that was the funny thing, because the maybe gig on the Saturday for both of us is in like barely out of Portsmouth, and I looked at it at Google Maps and we said, oh, we could go afterwards, and it's in Liverpool. And it's ridiculous. It's like, oh, we've saved like 20 minutes of the drive. Like, we've got that done. Though. It would be a laugh, and I think it would be a great first vlog. Is that what the kids call it?
Yeah, I think so.
A video diary.
Just document the little trip, the road trip.
Yeah.
You know.
Ben and George in Liverpool, you know, what is going to happen? Pina coladas, probably.
Get there late, have a sleep, go to the drum show. Anxiety get the better of us. Not really talk to anyone. Come home.
Yeah.
You know, that'd probably be the pattern.
The gist of it, yeah.
But I think it'd be good. So we need to get that sorted. We need to commit. We need to commit.
We do, yeah. Because I've got to ask for leave and shit now. It's just fucking. Although I will tell you, that was something I was going to mention about the new job, because that was what I was really worried about, was getting time off for gigs. However, it's kind of fine. Like that Tuesday gig that we're doing in a few weeks, which we'll definitely discuss on the pod. I was on the rota to work like 3 p.m. till 7 a.m. the next morning. I'm like, can't do that. And so I just went in and I was like, hey, so you see this shift? Can I like not do it, or can I swap it? And basically I wasn't working at all that weekend. I was like, will anyone swap, you know, some of their weekend? Like, and they were like, yes, obviously. Yeah. Like, yeah, I'll do Tuesday rather than Sunday morning, you know? So it is fine. And I think it is the kind of case of, not to be boring and talk about my rota, because my God, that is scraping the barrel. But if it all slots in well, it's fine. That was good. That was good. Yeah. I booked leave for Greece. Did I tell you I'm going to Greece?
No.
I'm going to Greece.
Cool. Next.
Yeah. No, in May.
Lovely.
It's a fuck, what's
for my birthday?
No, it's not. It's early May.
Early May.
But it's can't remember what the phrase for it is.
holiday.
No. It's a stag
No.
and hen do, but it's called like a sten or a
What? Really? Is that a thing?
Hag. Might be a hag. Yeah. But it's only because the couple that are getting married, all their mates are like, they all have the same mates or whatever, you know. But it's going to be, I think there's like 18 of us, and we're all staying in one. It's not a house. It's like 4 houses put together. Yeah, for like 5 nights. Should be great. I've never been to Greece before.
That's a long.
Yeah. I think the plan is...
And that's not the wedding. The wedding ain't...
No, the wedding's in August.
I mean...
but I think
Is that all a bit much?
No.
You
God, know? No. What do you mean a bit much? Going to Greece?
Yeah, but not for a holiday.
Well, I think it...
Like the demands. Like I did a wedding last year or something.
This,
all the way in Cornwall.
Yeah.
And then the bride was like, "Oh, do you guys play in Southampton? That's where we're from." Oh, for fuck's sake, what? You've dragged everyone to Cornwall. You fucking live down the road. You know, I've been to some stags abroad, and they were really good. 2 nights.
Yeah.
But it can be a bit demanding of your guests.
No, I think no. I think it's different because it's not going to be a stag in the sense of a stag where it's like 3 or 4 days of solid drinking. The plan
it's going to be 5 days of solid drinking.
Yeah, no. It's going to be. You go out on the Thursday, come back on the Monday, I want to say. I can't remember if it's 5. I think it's 5 days. But the night out is the Saturday night. But the rest of the time, it's like a holiday. Do you know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. But should be great, I think, anyway.
Good. Yeah, lovely.
Yeah, it's just going to be a crazy summer, to be honest, because I always work Sundays now. And I always gig Saturdays, and I'm looking ahead, and there's like 2 that are going to be fucking mental. There's one in April where it's like a gig on the Isle of Wight, and I don't think the ferry's back till 1:30 in the morning. And then I start work at 8 a.m. and I'm like, am I going to die? Like, but I'm just basically just going to have to plan when I sleep.
You won't, and you'll be a bit tired.
Yeah, this is it. And it's just like...
But you'll get up and you'll
Just go and do it. And you just, you go, I'll just do this day and then sleep all day Monday,
Sometimes you've got to put a shift in this game.
You have, exactly.
I've done it, I still have it here where it's like, okay,
yep.
I got a session at 10 a.m. in the studio. I'm babysitting rehearsals till 11 p.m. Okay, it's one of them, gig, get back at 3 a.m. and I've got a studio the next day.
Yeah.
And you just soldier through it.
This is it, you do. And
can't have it all your own way.
No, you can't. You got to cram it in. And
if you don't, that's the nature of it, isn't it? Because it's a lot of it is weekend work.
Yeah.
As I've said before, I'd bloody love it if people had their receptions on a Tuesday at 3 p.m.
Yeah.
If everyone could record on the weekday.
Well, let's discuss this. Here's a topic to discuss, and you don't know I'm going to bring it up because it's just popped into my head. Did you see, I don't know who she is, some woman said, why can't Coldplay do a matinee show and play it like 1 p.m?
Yes.
So what are your thoughts on that? Gigs being in the day rather than at night. What are the pros and cons? Because I've thought about it.
I think we're just still ruled by a majority workforce of 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And until that shifts, it's always... I don't know. Is there something to be said for the fact it's dark outside?
Yeah. And I think it's a different feeling.
And a lot of the time as well, and I've said this before, and I've lived and died by this phrase, do your homework, then play football.
Mm.
And the natural structure of the day is you work in the day so then you can enjoy your evening.
Yep.
And does it work if you go and enjoy your afternoon and then you got to go to work? It's not the same.
And I think you want the gig.
And people want a beer, don't they?
Yeah, and you want it to be the last point of the day, I think. Because I once went to see Busted in 2004. It was their last ever gig. Well, actually, it was their second. Yeah, until they reformed. Got no money because Fight Star hasn't worked out well.
Fight Star good. I love Fight Star.
Really?
Yeah, they did very well. Did you
not think his voice was a bit like
do the impression? I saw you go to do an impression. Don't back out now.
like just like weirdly deep, a bit like an elephant. Did you not think
I really like
Charlie
that
Simpson has the voice of an elephant? Cut that out, otherwise we're never getting Eddie Thrower on.
Or Charlie Simpson, who plays
Or
the
Charlie
drums as well.
Simpson. Yeah. I went to see Busted at Wembley Arena. I remember the date, 18th of December, 2004. And they did 2 shows at Wembley Arena in one day because the evening show sold out. And they basically went, well, we're here. Why don't we just do another one in the day? And they might have played like
That's how we
before.
do this podcast.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Except not to 12,000 people that we know of. No, it's not.
Absolutely not. I can definitely see the stats.
Do you know what? I was listening to James Acaster on some podcast the other day, and he was saying, when Off Menu hit 100 million streams, I did this or whatever. I was like, 100 million? Like,
lucky to get 100.
Exactly. Overall.
Forget the million.
Yeah. So anyway, I went to see Busted, and in the daytime show, which was like 2 p.m. or something. So you watch them, and then you leave, and it's like leaving a cinema in the day, and it's light outside, and you're like, well, I've just seen a gig. And I think that's part of it as well, because it's dark in an arena, like until they... Like, I think that's... I don't know, it was just very strange. And then we got the train. I think we were home by like 6 p.m.
But I think there's something to be said that actually I love going to the cinema late morning. That's my favourite time to go to the cinema. It's quiet.
Yeah. Well, as we know, you and I both went to the cinema once, and we were the only people in there.
Yeah. That was to see people just do nothing, wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah, it's good. And but then you come out and you're like, I've seen a film. Now I've still got the rest of the day.
Yeah.
That's quite nice. I don't know.
It works for some things.
There's
like
matinee theatre shows.
Well, yeah, exactly.
But that's not really... Is it the alcohol? Is that what's defining
might be,
it? Because you're not
yeah.
really getting smashed up going to see Cher the musical, are you?
No.
Or going to see Wicked, get the vodka in. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like that.
No.
But
I think that's it. It's, it's a good idea, but maybe that's it. Maybe it has to be the correct show, because
has to be the
imagine
right
seeing
sort of
Motorhead at 10 a.m. I mean, you can't anymore, but imagine, let's see Metallica. Think of a band that are alive. Imagine seeing Metallica at 10 or in the morning.
Think of a band that are alive. All I can think of is dead bands. That's all I can think of. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's, the recording we do here. You work Sundays? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're at school or at work or...
Oh. Here's a question. Have you ever had clients wanting to... Because I know Neil, does 10 till 5 or 6, and then it's like, that's it. It's like he... Whereas you don't have 3 kids, at least that you know of. So you might be a bit more loose. I don't know how you work. But, some bands I feel want to keep on going into the evening. Do you ever have a client that's like, can we record at night? Because I've heard my favourite band did that.
We get asked about evening recordings. And obviously people, that's them trying to fit it around work, mainly.
Yeah.
But we just don't do it.
No.
There's 2 main reasons. One is the live room's usually booked up for rehearsals anyway. And the other one is we've probably been mixing in the day or doing something in the day. Your ears are dead.
Yeah. Your
concentration's not as good. It really is the case of that. Something about it is so... Doing this job is so draining. Like, not tiring, but just like your brain. There's a lot of brain power being used and musical, and you're trying to get this band to record stuff. And so you have to, there's no sitting back on your phone.
Yeah.
There's no moment where you can just be like, just chill out for a bit.
Yeah.
You're constantly on the go and you're having to work to get these people to record something. And nothing beats that concentration being highest at 10 a.m. really.
Yeah.
I have done the odd evening recording session, but you're just like, I can't be bothered. I can't be fucked. I'm tired. I don't care. And the moment you stop caring, there's no point doing it.
No.
Really. Even just starting a recording session in the afternoon is hard enough.
Yeah.
There is a band I work with who They normally rehearse Mondays at 5 p.m. So it's like, well, they're coming here anyway, which will just get the drums done.
Yeah.
That's a bit different. And then the other guys come in later date to do the other stuff. So try and put people off.
Yeah.
I'm here enough evenings as it is.
Yeah. This is it. It's weird.
And there has to be a limit. There has to be a limit on what the nature of the work, and maybe this resonates with people, of like, when you are in that sort of job that ain't normal, ain't 9 to 5, it's very easy to end up filling your diary and then just being like, this is just not the worst week, but there's no consistent structure.
No.
And then you end up, because everyone's fighting for that peak slot of weekends, whether it's playing or recording, and then you're like, oh yeah, okay, maybe on the Monday I don't have to be in work.
Yeah.
But like it does really hinder a social life to a degree.
Definitely.
And just like, I think, even looking now, it's like April, it's like I'm pretty much recording every weekend. And you're like, oh, it's quite, it's fine.
Yeah.
But, you have to be careful not to, it's a lot of things. You've got to balance your working week. And when you're not working the regular hours, it's quite hard to see how much you're actually working in advance. And then sometimes it can catch up with you and you'll be like, oh fuck, I ain't got a day off.
I had a chat with James Gillingham before we did the Sprite challenge about all this, and it was really refreshing because he's in the same boat as me, and I think I sort of forget how many people are in the same boat where, on their Instagram they're playing for some artist and it looks cool, even if the artist is doing big places or whatever, but they're not getting paid much, and I was talking to him about it and he was like, how the fuck do we do it? Like, how does anyone make any money doing this? And we were saying, it's that trough thing again, it's like, I do know of people that are playing for big artists and I know that they're making good money because, the artist has a label and there's good money coming in and they can pay their session musicians well. But on the other end, it's just not. And then, this is the important part, then it becomes this weird grey area, and I'm in one at the moment, where it's like you sort of, you almost, I don't know, help the artist in a way because you are there as a session musician, but every now and then they'll be like, hey, can you help with rehearsal? And you'll be like, I don't know, should I? Because this isn't a band. If it's a band, then we all split it equal. But then you have to think, but I know that they ain't making any money from this, and it's like if you turn up to a gig and you think, I know there's no fee for this gig, and then to say, oh, could you pay me 80 quid? And they're just another person that just has a job. And it's this weird thing. Basically, everyone is, making no money if you're in music. That's it. The end.
There's a few people at the top making all the money, and that's just not just music.
Yeah,
it's just the general economy, innit?
Yeah,
people with all the money. There's just a few with all the money, and everyone else is scrounging around.
Isn't it funny? I saw Ed Sheeran did a gig the other day in Australia, and I saw it through Mark Pusey's Instagram, and it was the biggest ticketed gig ever. It was like 112,000 people, and immediately my brain went, well, if he gets even a quid from every ticket, like it's been 100 grand in a night.
Okay, right. We've got time, haven't we, for another story?
Yeah, we got time.
Yeah, so this kind of relates, kind of ties in. So I went to a comedy gig.
Oh yeah,
last week. It was to see John Kearns.
Okay, who's that?
Well, not that many people know him really, but he was on the most recent series of Taskmaster.
Right.
And me and my mum really like Taskmaster, and I heard him on another podcast, and he was on tour, and I was like, I'll get my mum a ticket for Christmas.
Yeah.
So see where he's playing. Closest he's playing is Guildford at G Live, and I've been there before to see a show, and it's quite a big room. But on the ticket it said Bellaby Studio.
Right.
I was like, oh, so it's not in the main room. And then so we turn up, have a bit of dinner. and then go in. And I counted, there were 96 chairs in this sort of small room. I imagine it's sort of what the Guildhall has now, where they have that Guildhall studio.
Yeah.
So they can have events on, but don't need the whole big room.
Was this a warm-up gig or is this an actual...
This was his tour. This was his actual tour.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
And, I counted, there was 96 chairs, and there was an opening act. It was really good. And then John Kearns came out and did an hour, and it was brilliant. I really liked it. But I was like, this guy's just been on one of the biggest comedy shows in the country, which I think Taskmaster is fair to say is.
Yeah.
And he's still only doing 100-seater venues.
Mm.
And maybe London he'll do more, but he's come to Guildford and it's only warranted 100-seater venue. And he's been on the fucking telly and been doing it for 10 years.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like, and I was like, okay, well, it was 16 quid a ticket.
Yeah.
Right. 1,600 quid approx.
Yeah.
Has been brought in to this gig. Venue, staff, they had the Swedish Philharmonic on next door in the big room.
Right.
But so the running costs wouldn't be that. But I was like, what's he taking home?
Yeah.
And what's the stand-up? What's the warm-up act taking home?
Yeah.
Maybe John, maybe he's getting 500 quid after costs, tour management, all those costs that people don't think. Maybe he's getting 400 quid. It's not bad for an hour set, but I know it's not just the hour set he's getting paid for.
Yeah.
He had to travel from somewhere. He's got to travel on somewhere else. There's accommodation, all that sort of thing. Like 500 quid. Maybe this warm-up's getting ton 50.
Yeah.
Maybe. And he's, and you think, and he's been on the fucking telly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it makes you go, oh, to then get to the level where you're doing Hammersmith Apollo, or it's like music, innit?
You could be really successful and all that, but still be playing the joiners.
Yeah.
Selling it out, sure.
Yeah.
But even to get to that point, it's fucking hard. Then to get to the point you're playing Wembley, do you know what I mean? It's. But anyway, so really enjoyed it, and went to the car park to get in the car. Obviously, drive home. Pulled away. Oh, something's not right. Flat tyre. Back rear tyre, driver's side, completely dead. For fuck's sake. Get the AA out. Thankfully, they only took 15 minutes.
Right.
That's pretty quick.
That's pretty good.
But I've got my mum in the car, and it's like, we've already got to drive back to Fareham
to drop her off. Could be a late night for the old girl.
But anyway, just waiting, and then the AA turned up and they moved the car forward, and there was like a 4-inch nail just in the back tyre.
Wow.
And he was like, I'm going to try and plug it,
and then I'll follow you home.
If not, I'll just put like a one-fits-all tyre on and follow you back. But it was quite annoying. But in that situation, well, that's nothing we can, just got to. This is the situation. But I noticed John Kearns and the other comedian were by a car chatting for a bit. And then we were the only ones left in the car park, just there with a car half out of space, an AA van. They walked past, and I just thought, I just said, oh,
yeah.
yeah, I was like, oh, just really enjoyed the show, thanks. And obviously they looked round, they said, oh, thank you. And then they saw this whole situation. They came over.
Wow.
And they were like, oh, what's going on? Like, I was flat tyres and nailing it.
Mum's in the front.
Mum's in the front. But then Mum comes out the car and she didn't know who I was talking to.
Yeah.
And then she's like, oh, it's you guys.
Love it.
And then we ended up chatting to them for about 5 minutes.
Oh, amazing.
And it was that thing, and that was really nice. And I was really pleased my mum got to sort of meet them. And they were, one of them made a joke about being from East Anglia, which is where my mum's from. So she chatted to him a bit about that. And obviously they were like, oh, look, we hope it gets fixed and hope you get back safe, blah, blah, blah. And that was a nice little thing of shit situation, but we got something quite nice out of it.
Yeah, definitely nice.
Got to, because we both really like John Kearns on Taskmaster.
Yeah.
So that was nice,
Yeah, it is true,
that wouldn't have happened if we didn't have the flat tyre.
No, exactly.
So,
Have I ever told my Dave Grohl story? I'll end with this. When I went to see them Crooked Vultures at Portsmouth Guildhall, 2009, after the gig, my dad, who took me, is a big fan of just worming his way into stuff. It's probably where I got it from. And so he fully believes he's well within his right to see the band after they played, whoever it is, you know. So he'll sort of, after the gig's over, just go and hang around in the lobby for a bit. And he's like, yeah, they usually come down. Because I think he's seen other bands do that. You know, the bands will wait half an hour and then go and, you know, meet and greet the guests. Obviously not now, thanks to COVID, but in the good old days. And I was thinking, there's no way Dave Grohl, Josh Homme and John Paul Jones will come down. It's just not going to happen after the gig. But we waited for like 10, 15 minutes. And then the session guitarist, who was like on stage the whole gig, just appeared there with like, he had like 6 or 7 girls from the gig around him.
Lad.
Yeah, this is it. And Dad just went up to him, poked him.
He's not even in the band.
Dad just went up to him, just poked his arm, didn't even, you know, like that, just jabbed him, sort of looked around. And Dad goes, all right, is it all right for Dave to come down and meet my lads, you know? Didn't even say Dave Grohl, Dave, you know.
Sure.
And he went, yeah, I'll see if he can do that. And then went upstairs, these 6 or 7 girls from Pompey. And I was like, fucking hell, we're going to meet Dave Grohl. And about 10, 15 minutes went by and no one came downstairs. And Dad was like, we should probably go. I don't think he's coming. And I was like,
I thought you were going to say your dad was like, we should probably go up there.
Yeah.
We'll go up. We'll go up.
I'll worm my way into that room.
Miscommunication, yeah.
This is it. But then I heard a security guard say that apparently the band had locked themselves in a room upstairs with the girls and just going to stay in there for a bit. Josh and Dave with some Pompey.
Probably play Uno.
Probably. And I thought, if I ever see Dave Grohl again, I'll be like, why didn't you want to meet me at Portsmouth Field Hall?
Why did you want to spend an hour locked in a room with 6 girls?
Yeah.
And not come meet me?
Me, a 14-year-old boy. Not in that way.
Can you explain that to me, please, David?
Dave Grohl. Yeah. When we get him on the pod.
All right. First off.
Yeah.
What are you doing with all these girls?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He'll go,
give 14-year-old boys a chance. Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah, that'll do, won't it? Yeah. We've rambled on.
Yeah, we have.
Well, wedding season is fast approaching.
Yeah.
So we've got a gig coming up. First gig of the season.
Yeah.
Decade, electric kit, sound limiter. Yeah. Can't wait.
I feel like, I think the plan is, if I'm right, probably less guests over the summer because we'll have shit to talk about. And we'll just
maybe
get busier.
I think we're
going to keep going.
Yeah,
we've got a list, baby. You know, if you're listening and you're someone that likes guests, it's not just going to be us forever, obviously. You know, but yeah.
Well, we've had
but we've got.
I'd say a fairly guest-heavy start to the year.
Really,
which has been great.
Yeah,
it's been really good, and we were cramming them in because of you starting your job, me going away. While we weren't gigging, but we'll definitely continue to get guests on.
Oh yeah,
we've got a target list that we're going to try and sort.
Yeah,
I'm sure we'll think of more. But yeah, keep going, and guest or no guest, we will persevere and chat shit.
Exactly, climb up those charts, just shitting them out
by default.
Yeah.
Twitter, Instagram. Email drummandrummerpod@gmail.com. Get in touch. Tell us what you've been up to.
Yeah.
See you later.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Drum and Drummer. You can find us on Instagram at Drum and Drummer Podcast. And you can send us an email to drumanddrummerpod@gmail.com. Remember, just pick up the sticks and twat it.